700,000 workers, 38 years of construction, and rivers of liquid mercury flowing through an underground palace meant to keep a dead emperor ruling forever. That tomb has never been opened. But in 2020, scientists pointed a laser at the sky above it and found mercury vapor still leaking out after 2,200 years. That mercury came from a blood-red stone called Cinnabar. Heat the stone, catch the silver drops. It's so simple that the recipe hasn't fundamentally changed since before the Roman Empire existed. And right now, that exact same process is destroying the Amazon rainforest. 4 tons of smuggled mercury seized at the Peruvian border in June 2025, headed straight for illegal gold mines, from an emperor's tomb to the Amazon jungle. This is the story of the most contradictory substance on Earth. Here's what makes mercury so strange. It's a metal, like iron, like gold. But at room temperature, it refuses to be solid. Pour it on a table and it shatters into 100 silver beads, then pulls itself back together like it has a mind of its own. Drop a chunk of iron into mercury and the iron floats. Not because the iron is light, but because mercury is absurdly heavy. A single gallon weighs 113 pounds. That's heavier than a fully packed carry-on suitcase. And yet, nobody digs this stuff out of the ground as a silver liquid. There are no underground mercury streams, no liquid metal deposits waiting to be scooped up. Mercury hides. It hides inside a rock so red it looks like it's bleeding. That rock is Cinnabar. Crack one open. Deep crimson crystals. Gorgeous. The kind of red that humans have been grinding into pigment for over 10,000 years. The Maya painted royal tombs with it. The Chinese mixed it into lacquer, creating the shade the whole world now calls Chinese red. And locked inside every crystal, atom by atom, is mercury, holding hands with sulfur, trapped in a chemical bond that's lasted millions of years. So how do you break those hands apart? You don't manufacture mercury, you set it free. The method is almost embarrassingly simple. Take Cinnabar, crush it to powder, heat it in open air, that's it. As the temperature climbs, the sulfur panics. It grabs oxygen from the air and bolts, becoming sulfur dioxide gas, drifting away like smoke. And for the first time in millions of years, the mercury is alone. It rises as invisible vapor. Think about that for a second. You've just turned a solid red stone into an invisible metallic gas. Then you cool it, run that vapor through a cold pipe, and mercury surrenders first, condensing into shimmering silver droplets that trickle down the walls. The other gases keep drifting. But mercury is too heavy to stay airborne. It beads up, pools together, and just like that, a silver liquid is born out of smoke. Here's the part that should genuinely stun you. That process, heat the stone, catch the drops, is functionally identical to what humans were doing over 2,300 years ago. The earliest known recipe for extracting mercury comes from a Greek philosopher named Theophrastus, Aristotle's student and successor at the Lyceum in Athens. Around the 4th century BC, he wrote a book called On Stones. In it, he described grinding cinnabar with vinegar in a copper mortar with a copper pestle. Not even fire, just grinding. That method was replicated in a lab by researchers in 2022, published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. It worked. Droplets of mercury appeared, exactly as Theophrastus described 2,400 years ago. Scientists now consider that recipe the first documented chemical reaction in human history, not performed by a chemist, not in a lab, by a philosopher in ancient Athens and with a rock, some vinegar, and a copper bowl. The hot method, roasting cinnabar over fire, was described later by the Roman architect Vitruvius in the 1st century BC. But the basic principle hasn't changed. Heat breaks the bond. Mercury escapes. You catch it before it vanishes. Once humanity figured out how to free mercury, something strange happened. They became obsessed with it. Go back to that emperor's tomb in Xi'an. Qin Shi Huang, the man who unified China, built the Great Wall, and commanded the Terracotta Army, was convinced mercury held the secret to eternal life. He drank it. His physicians mixed it into potions. And when he died in 210 BC, almost certainly from the mercury itself, his workers built an underground palace with rivers of liquid mercury flowing through it, simulating the Yellow River and the Yangtze, a map of his entire empire, rendered in poison. The ancient historian Sima Qian described those mercury rivers about a century later. For 2,000 years, most scholars dismissed the account as legend. Then scientists started testing. Soil samples above the tomb hit 1,440 parts per billion of mercury in some spots. In 2020, researchers used laser radar and detected mercury vapor in the air above the mound, up to 27 nanograms per cubic meter, nearly 3 times the local background level. The legend was chemistry all along. Now fly 7,500 miles west, Teotihuacan, Mexico. In 2003, a rainstorm opened a sinkhole at the foot of the Pyramid of the Feathered Serpent. Archaeologist Sergio Gomez spent the next 12 years slowly excavating a tunnel sealed for 1,800 years. At the end of it, 3 underground chambers. Inside, jade statues, jaguar skeletons, pyrite mirrors, and pools of liquid mercury. A civilization with zero contact with China or Greece had independently figured out how to extract mercury from Cinnabar, and they used it to represent the rivers of the underworld, the land of the dead. A small town in central Spain, sitting on top of the largest mercury deposit ever found, mined since Roman times, it produced roughly 250,000 tons of mercury, a full third of all the mercury humans have ever extracted from the earth. The town's name comes from the Arabic al-Madin. It literally means the mine. In 1645, the Spanish crown seized the mines because mercury had become a weapon of empire, the key ingredient for extracting silver from ore. Spain's colonial silver mines in the Americas couldn't function without it. Mercury was shipped across the Atlantic as ballast in the same ships that carried conquistadors, but someone had to dig it up, and that someone was often prisoners. Convicts were sentenced to work Almaden's tunnels. A 16th century investigation found that 24% of them died before completing their sentence. The tunnels where prisoners died are now a museum you can walk through on a guided tour. For centuries, people knew mercury was dangerous. They just didn't understand how. The expression, mad as a hatter, comes from 18th and 19th century hat makers who used mercury nitrate to cure felt. They developed tremors, mood swings, slurred speech. The industry knew, nobody stopped. Then came 1956, Minamata, Japan. The Chiso Corporation had been dumping industrial wastewater into Minamata Bay since 1932. That wastewater contained methyl mercury, an organic mercury compound far more toxic than the liquid metal itself. On April 21, 1956, a 5-year-old girl was brought to the local hospital. She couldn't walk, she couldn't speak. Her sister had the same symptoms, then neighbors, then entire fishing families along the shoreline. The mercury had accumulated in the fish. The fish fed the families fed their cats. The cats started convulsing and throwing themselves into the sea. Locals called it dancing cat disease before they realized it was happening to people too. A doctor at Chiso's own factory hospital, Hajime Hosokawa, ran experiments that proved the connection to the company's wastewater. By the time Chiso finally stopped dumping in 1968, over 2,000 people had been officially recognized as victims. The actual number is likely far higher. Some estimates put it above 50,000 affected. Children were born with severe brain damage. The company denied responsibility for over a decade. You'd think that would have ended the story. It didn't. Right now, artisanal gold mining is the single largest source of mercury pollution on the planet. In the Amazon, miners mix mercury with river sediment to trap gold particles. For every single gram of gold extracted in Latin America, an average of 4.63 grams of mercury is dumped into the environment. In June 2025, Peruvian authorities seized 4 tons of liquid mercury smuggled from Mexico. Here's what that means for you. Mercury is not ancient history. It's in the tuna on your plate. Trace amounts of methyl mercury accumulate in predatory fish through the exact same process that poisoned Minamata. It's why the FDA still recommends pregnant women limit their tuna intake. That recommendation traces a direct line from a fishing village in Japan to your grocery store. It's in old thermostats, fluorescent light bulbs, and dental amalgam fillings. And it's being pumped into the air and water of the Amazon at industrial scale right now, driven by record-high gold prices. The substance a Greek philosopher first freed from a rock with vinegar and a copper bowl 2,400 years ago is still circling the planet. From red stone to silver liquid to invisible poison, the cycle has never stopped. Next time someone says mercury comes from a thermometer, Tell them it comes from a stone that's been driving civilizations mad for 10,000 years. Same stone, same fire, same silver ghost.